select sketch. Notice that it's put a little origin right out in the very center of that face. I could, and I often do, sketch looking at a part isometrically. But for now, as far as the beginning class is concerned, I think it's best that we look at that straight at that face. What is the term that I use? Look perpendicular to that face. Normal to. Normal to. You see my icon up here. Probably won't see it on your computer. Notice that when I created this block, this cube, the first sketch, I selected the front plane. I told it to sketch, and it rotated normal to automatically. This time it started to sketch on that top face, but it did not automatically rotate to normal to. It's not always so friendly after that first one. So now I have to manually do it. I'm going to hit the space bar just to remind you that I can find that normal to icon, like so. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to click off of the face so that it's no longer selected. We are still looking at the top of the part. The way I know I'm in the sketch mode, well, one thing I can see this origin here, the red origin. I can look down at the bottom, it says editing sketch 2, and over here it tells me that I've got sketch 2 open, but mostly I look for those icons. Those tell me I'm editing a sketch. That's the most visible thing that you will see. So now, I'm going to go, I really can't find it, I don't think, in the right-click menu. I don't think we have a text option there. I'm going to go over here and find it, this large capital A. If I click on that, it brings up text. I'm going into probably the most complicated thing about these sketches, and it's not all that complicated. I don't mean to scare you off. But right now, it's clicking, or I should say, it's blinking in this white box here that says text. There's also a blue box above it called curves. Normally when you see that blue color in any one of these fields, any window in here, or they call them fields, normally that's the one that is waiting for you to select something, waiting for you to input something. But in this case for text, the blinking cursor is right there, and it's simple. I'm going to put caps lock on, and I'm going to type in my name. Now, if you look out on that part and see what's happened, if I were to zoom in on origin, the very first letter, the lower left corner of that G, is at origin by default. That's where it's going to put it if I don't give it any more information. But up here, what I just talked about, it said select edges, curves, sketches, sketch segments. What it wants is, if I don't want this to be located with origin at the lower left corner of my name, I need to give it some other information to guide that text. So I'm going to go back in my sketch. I'm going to cancel that text. I'm going to draw a line. Now, I told you guys before when I built that one line corner to corner, I said I wanted that to be a construction line. Did anybody forget to do that? And it tried to pick one or the other triangle and extrude it? If you forgot to make that one a construction line, it saw it as a border for an extrusion. But the quicker way for me to make construction geometry, I could go to line, click and drag and make a line, and this will be the one that guides my text. And then I could check this box that says for construction, escape the line tool, and there's my construction line. But a faster way to do that, select that and go to delete. If I right click and choose center line, I want you to take a look at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to read this to you. I don't normally read things to people, but it says, gives me a description of what the center line is about. It says this tool will sketch a center line, use center lines to create symmetrical sketch elements. That's something we're going to do before the night's over. Revolved features, that's coming a couple weeks from now, or as construction geometry. I showed you how to draw a line, and I showed you a box you could check that made it a construction line. But you don't need to do that. Just use the center line tool. It makes a line that is dashed, and it will see it just like a construction line. So I go to center line. I click and I drag and I make a line here. I'm going to make it, or I'm going to make it not horizontal. There's my automatic relation to make it horizontal if I want it. But I'm clicking and dragging. I'm going to make it on an angle just to show you how this thing behaves. I'll escape the line tool. I'm going to go back to the text tool. And I'll go ahead and type my name in again. It's doing the same thing that it did before, but now when I select that line, That line is the curve that drives my text. It's now located on the line. It's located at the left corner of it. I've got a bunch of options over here I can change. That's left align. Some people might call it left justify. I click the center justify, put my text in the center. Right, you get the idea. I can full justify, or, yeah, full justify just spreads it out. But I'll use center for now. There's another thing I can do. I can uncheck use document font. It's got a setting under tools and options for what kind of font we use by default. I'm gonna override that. I uncheck that, click on the font button, and I'll make my text, it comes up. I don't always use units here. I tend to use points. It's just quicker for me to get a quick idea of what it looks like. I'll make these pretty good size, let's say 36. And I'll make it bold. Click OK. Nope.